Welcome. My name is Doug, and I'm part of the team here at Sirius Education Solutions. This video will give you a few ideas on how to use the online ebook student editions from Sirius for remote instruction. As you can see, I'm working from home, as I'm sure many of you are. There are a number of ways that you can use the online ebooks. I'm going to give you 3 examples, starting with the simplest. First, you can give students an assignment to complete. You could post the assignment on your class webpage or learning management system, or you could simply email it out to your students. It's probably best to use whatever communication method you've been using all year long. Here's an example of an assignment. Notice that I've numbered the different parts of the assignment so that students realize there's more than one thing that I want them to do. I've provided the URL, the specific URL, for the pages in the book where I'd like them to start the assignment. I've included some instructions on how I'd like them to record their answers. And I've included instructions on how they should submit those answers to me. So in this case, I'm asking them to write their answers on a piece of paper and then to take a photo of that and email that photo to me. There's other ways students could submit their answers. Could be by text message. It could be by typing them in a word processor and submitting that file. Could be by using your school's learning management system. Or if you use Google Apps or Google Classroom, you could create a form for students to submit their answers. Another way to use the ebooks is as part of an instructional video using a technique called screencasting. That's where you record your computer screen in a video along with audio and possibly a webcam. That's how we created this video. So let me tell you a little bit about the setup that I'm using. I'm using my work laptop, which has a webcam built in. And although my laptop has a built-in microphone, I'm actually using the microphone on the earbuds from my phone because they have a better microphone. It picks up the sound more clearly with less background noise. And I'm using a screen recorder called Screencast-O-Matic to record the video. There are a number of screen recorders out there. Screencastify is another popular one. Some of them have free versions, or you can pay a small fee for a version with enhanced features. You can find screen recorder software by doing a Google search for screen recorder. Finally, in order to show you what I'm doing, I'm also going to be using Screencastify's tools in combination with Screencast-O-Matic. You see, the tools are usually hidden from the final video. And so in order to show you what these tools look like and how you might use them, I needed to use 2 different programs. Okay, let's get started. This ebook is grade 6 math. I've opened it up to page 96, which is on graphing. Before I started recording, I would zoom in to make the page more readable in the video, especially if some students may be viewing it on a mobile device like a phone. So let me do that for you now. Okay, let's go right about there. Now, Screencastify provides a tool called Mouse Focus, and that is down here under the mouse tools. It works like a spotlight to highlight whatever the cursor is over. So for example, if I want to call students' attention to this label about how we label the origin, I could place my mouse over there and the spotlight appears there. Or I could spotlight the origin itself. Or if I want to spotlight particular vocabulary terms, I can do that. It's an easy way to direct students' focus to what you want them paying attention to. Now, if you're familiar with the math books, you're probably aware that they provide some worked examples like we have down here at the bottom. And when using the print books, we often suggest that students cover the solution, which normally is shown down below these dashed lines. So we'll suggest that they cover it with a piece of paper and try to work it out themselves before they review the solution. So you can simply scroll that part off the bottom of the screen so that students don't see it. But let's suppose instead you want to cover up the graph. You can't really do that by scrolling. So let me show you a trick. What I've done is pause the screen recorder, then I opened up an empty folder on my hard drive and placed it over the graph, as you can see here. Then I restarted the screen recorder. This could also be a window for a drawing program, and then I could sketch a graph on the screen if I wanted. So when I'm ready to show the graph in the book, all I need to do is minimize or close this window. Most screen recorders include some sort of tools for marking up the screen, and those would be down here. Let's say you wanted to write answers in the blanks on the screen. You can grab the pen and do that. It takes a little bit of practice. Writing with a mouse is a bit like writing with a bar of soap. But with practice, you can learn to do this, at least passably well. And you can also write in different colors of ink. So let's say that I wanted to highlight this distance on the x-axis in red, and maybe circle that point in red. And then I could come down here and grab a different color, maybe a shade of blue. And I could highlight that distance and circle the second term in the coordinate pair. And you can also erase what you've written. Just grab the eraser tool and start erasing. If you have a lot to erase, you may want to pause and then restart the video after you've finished erasing, like this. Finally, after you complete your video, you'll want to save it and upload it to your learning management system or to YouTube or one of the many other video hosting platforms available. If you have students that need closed captions, YouTube has tools for easily adding those. If you're new to screencasting, you can do a search on Google or YouTube to find more tips on how to do it well. You can also apply all of the tips that I've given you about screencasting to a live video conference. There are many video conference systems that offer free versions, including Zoom, Skype, and Google Hangouts. Here, for example, is one view of Zoom. In a video conference, each participant's webcam is shown in a small window. You share computer screens and markup tools on the screen. So here's an example where you've got somebody's screen shared and you see all of the tiles of everybody's webcam up above. So not everyone will be able to take advantage of video conferencing. To make it work, all students will need access to a device. Most of these systems have phone apps, so it doesn't necessarily need to be a computer or a tablet. You'll also need to be able to schedule a time when all or most of your students can meet online. That may be a challenge at times if they need to share computers with siblings. But these systems all have a feature that lets you record the session, so if you're only missing a few students, they can watch the recording later. Assuming that you have all these things in place, devices and a meeting time, what can you do with Sirius eBooks in a video conference? Well, first, you can do all the same things that I was showing you for a screencast video. In addition, you can also solicit student responses and discussion. And you can do that just as you would in a regular class. You can call on a student or ask for a volunteer to respond. Most video conference systems also include a text-based chat feature. You can use that to solicit responses from all students. Most of these systems allow users to send a text message to either the entire group or only selected users. So there you see some of the controls. So you can decide if you want students to submit responses only to you or to the whole group. It can be a great way to keep students engaged. And finally, if all students have a webcam, you could have them write responses on paper and hold them up to the camera, like this. These are just a few ideas to help you get started with using the Sirius online ebooks for remote instruction. We encourage you to talk with your colleagues about these suggestions and brainstorm your own ideas about what will work for your situation and resources.